Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the 10 biggest mistakes I see beginner Cassantes make. Now the first mistake I see a lot of Cassantes make is that they will throw their Q3 without guaranteeing it with W. In lots of situations when, let's say you're getting a gank, I see lots of Cassantes just throw out their Q3, miss their Q3, and now they don't have anything to follow up with their jungler. So instead what you should do is, let's say this little target dummy's a minion, you can EW Q3, and that little stun on your W guarantees the Q3, knocks them back towards your turret, and lots of CC for your jungler to come and follow up. So for the second tip, what I see a lot of beginner Cassantes do is that they'll kill their lane opponent, right? Let's say target dummy, I kill him, and then he dies, and then now I'm gonna go and hit the tower. What I see a lot of them do is that they just stand here, and then they just stand still and they hit it. And what a lot of people don't know is that your all-out Q is actually just a full-on auto-attack reset. So it's even better if you have Sheen. So if you're like all-out, you kill, and then you hit the tower, make sure to weave Qs in between every single auto-attack. Your Q is already a lower cooldown from being all-out, so there's really just no reason not to. So you go for autos, and then auto, Q auto, E auto, Q auto, and yeah, that's pretty much it. For the third tip, which might be the most important one, is timing your grasp and your gauntlet autos. What I mean by this is whenever you auto attack or you use an ability, you'll get grasp stacks, right? You're building up a life draining attack. What I see a lot of people do is they'll go for a trade and then they'll auto right as their grasp is about to come up. You should be waiting at least like a quarter to half of a second and then starting your auto attack animation, and then you should be backing up. Your passive also gives bonus range, so you can back up a bit and then auto attack and then back up a bit. So what I mean by that is, okay, so here, watch my grasp stacks. I'll go for a Q and then auto as I get grasp. Like right as I get grasp. But what a lot of people will do is they'll go for a trade and then they'll Q auto and then they'll leave when they have grasp. Trades in lane with grasp might not make the huge difference, but having gauntlet and timing your gauntlet can be the difference between a pick, between you losing the game or you winning the game. So I think this is really important that you have to understand. See, Iceborne has a 1.5 second cooldown, and my Q has a 1.75 second cooldown. So if I'm spam Q autoing, I'm not gonna get that second slow field on my second Q auto. So you can see on my first Q auto, I get this little slow field. I go for my second Q auto, there's no more slow field. That's because I'm spamming my Q. Now instead, what you should do, there's like a 0.2 second window between the timer of gauntlet coming back up and you pressing Q. You literally just need to not be spamming your Q in order to get that extra slow. And it's really important because if you're against a really mobile champion and you Q auto them and then you spam your Q auto again, they're just gonna run away now. You don't have your Q right back up immediately. They can like speed away. I've had it happen to me before. So what you want to do ideally is you want to Q auto, wait for the timer to come back up, then Q auto again, and you can basically chain the slow field. As long as you're timing it correctly, the slow field should always be there. Now, you can also Q auto and then E. So what I mean by that is you can get the Q auto slow field and then spam Q. You won't get the slow field, but you can spam E and then get the slow field. So yeah, don't spam Q auto, or you'll leave an escape for your opponent. The fourth mistake I see a lot of Cassantes do is they'll be walking to lane, and instead of just normally walking, they'll press W. Now, early in the game, when you walk to lane and you spam W, you will run out of mana very, very quickly. So already pressing W while walking to lane puts you at a disadvantage. And it actually doesn't give you any more range than walking. So you can be walking and it'll give the same range as it took the time to charge and dash the full distance. Now, I would say the only exception for using W to get back to lane is if you're waiting in Fountain and you can just hold W. And basically you'll stay in the Fountain and regenerate resources while getting the charge off. So if, let's say you're missing HP or something, for an example here, you can wait for your health, and then while you're recharging your health, you can also prep your W dash. So so you stand on the edge here, charge your W, and then you leave with full HP. The fifth mistake I see a lot of Cassante beginners make is that they will flash and then Q3. This is very, very predictable for the enemy. If you flash in their face and then start your cast time, you should generally just look to get your cast time over with and then flash to redirect it, because there's no real reason to flash and then Q3 apart from Q3 and then flashing, because using the ability lets the cast time go off during your flash. It also just looks cleaner and it's harder to react to. So let's say if I Q3 flash, if I flash Q3, already as soon as I flash, the enemy will be looking to like dodge it because they see the Q3 effects, they know, oh crap, I'm about to get engaged on. So let's say Gwen dashes here. Now, there's a bit of an issue, because if you flash in their face and then Q3, that's like, your enemy can easily react to that and then just dash away from it and you're screwed. And you just lose your flash. But instead, during your Q3, you can redirect your thing. So even if they see your Q3 cast animation and Gwen dashes here, they see it and then dash, you can still redirect it. So let's say Gwen is here and then she dashes here as soon as she sees my cast time, you can just redirect it, it doesn't matter. And it also generally just looks better, hides the animation a little bit better as well. So for example, if I have my ally here, you can barely tell that I'm even casting my Q3 in the first place because I paired it with my E. The sixth mistake I'll see a lot of Cassante beginners make is that they will buy AD. Now, I know there are some AD exceptions, which I'll get out of the way right now. I think the only acceptable AD items are Divine, Titanic, Hullbreaker, and Sterax. With the new recent buffs, Sterax is probably your best bet. I'm not encouraging you to buy any of these. I'm not saying they're really good on him. I'm just saying those are the only exceptions. Any other AD item, I don't think you should go. Just because Cassante is a tank. There's really no reason you need to be building AD. Yeah, his Q has a AD ratio, but in your R you can see you gain attack damage based off your resists. So if you want more AD, just go more resists. It's like building AD just makes you lose out on resists. I don't really find building AD gives you any value. It's pretty much always better to just go resists. Yes, your Q scales off AD, and it also scales off resists. So just go resists, don't build AD. Last but not least is the biggest mistake I see a lot of Cassante beginners make, and it's actually tapping W and all out. Now, there's 3 reasons why you shouldn't tap W and all out. Okay, so reason number 1, look at my tap W damage really quickly. 197, 197, 197. So 197 damage, right? Let's hold my W for half a second. 289. You're basically increasing your W damage by 50% just by holding it for like half a second. Half a second, half a second. You can fully charge your W and it'll do the same amount of damage as holding it for literally half a second. I promise you, just hold it down for half a second. Don't tap it. It does 196 damage. Don't tap it. Second reason is you lose out on a lot of mobility. Compare this to this, and it'll be the difference between you killing your opponent and running him down and you not being able to kill him. Because if you do this, you can easily escape from that. What you need to do is what you need to do is hold it down and get behind him. It'll be more satisfying, you'll be more mobile, it'll be harder for the enemy to react to you being in their face more, and it's just generally better. For the last reason is you don't get to utilize your most important ability. And what I mean by that is your W gives you defenses and it grants you unstoppable. If you tap it, you don't get any damage reduction and you don't get unstoppable. The enemy will literally just CC you right after you press W. But instead, if you hold W, you can get the damage reduction. So let's say you're fighting your enemy here and then you like ult them back into your turret. Let's say they try and like hit you a bit, you can just W and then get behind them. So not only do you block their damage, you can also get behind them. If you tap your W here though, if you tap W here, you don't block any of their damage, you barely get behind them, and you don't like maximize your damage either on them. You also don't get unstoppable. So, I mean, you get unstoppable for like a nanosecond if you just like God Complex, but literally just don't tap W. You'll get unstoppable for like a nanosecond. It's just better to hold W for like half a second, get behind them, do increased damage, no reason to tap it. Let's say you're into a Maokai, right? And you ult him behind here. First thing Maokai is gonna want to do is get you off of him. So he's gonna press Q, right? Well, you get to go unstoppable now and then dash behind him, and now he's pretty much screwed, you just run him down. Because you unstoppable his Q, his main peel tool, and now he's just kind of screwed. Let's say the same scenario, but instead you tap W. So here, I tap W and then Maokai just hits you away. And now you don't, it'll actually just cancel you during your dash. Because during your dash you aren't unstoppable. So if he presses Q right as you W, he's just gonna knock you away, like during the dash. And now you can't run him down because you didn't do any damage to him with your W, and because you didn't utilize your unstoppable. So please, please, please don't tap your W in all out. Literally, you can hold it for half or a quarter of a second and it'll be a million times better. Just please do not tap it. Do not tap it.